Welcome in, everybody, to Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines Challenge Week is underway. Round 1 starts tomorrow, and today it's the press conference. We have the defending champion, Ganon Burr, joining us now. Ganon, you're back home. It's got to feel good to come back home halfway through the season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How does it feel?
It's good.
What was it like?
Had obviously the week off after Preserve, which was kind of nice, especially because I'm home for that extra week, home for this week before I go over to Europe, and so it's going to be pretty easy to prepare for Europe and pack, and that's just nice to have. No stress really when I'm playing the tournament, obviously, and then the hometown crowd, of course, is going to be just amazing experience. I'm going to hopefully not jinx it, but the weather looks decent this year, so hopefully we can get 3 days with no rain. That'd be awesome.
I know how close you are with the tournament director, Ty Tanat. You got to feel bad for him at a certain point. I mean, it felt like we were going to be in the clear, and then the course got 4 or 5 inches of rain in about an hour. What's the course looking like right now?
The OB lines on 3, 4, and 5 are all completely underwater still. So I'm not really sure what they're going to do about that. They said the pond's not really draining anymore. So they might have to restring and restake the OB line. Or they're going to try to get a pump and drain it a little bit. Hopefully it drains just enough though. Obviously if we get any more rain, that's not going to help at all. But the rest of the course is just a little bit sloppy. Tees are a little muddy. That's about the only issue. I mean, it's still looking amazing. It's pretty green this year, which is nice because in years past it's been kind of yellow and burnt. So that's good to have for once.
Talk about the new 17 and 18. I think it's been mixed reactions from players, but myself walking it, they looked pretty beautiful. What do you think? Yeah,
I think the mixed reactions from players is them thinking it doesn't fit their play style. I've talked to some players saying certain trees are fluky. I know on 17, a couple hyzer flip players are not happy about a tree on the right. And for me, that doesn't even come close to in play. And, I know in 18 as well, there's trees, once you get past the initial gap, there's a couple on the left. I heard a couple players complaining about that. It's, it's fluky. It's, you hit the initial gap, you should get rewarded. I know someone complained about one of the trees just dead straight on 18, and I was asking them, and I was like, well, what shot are you throwing? They're like, oh, I'm throwing a hyzer flip right down the middle. I'm like, well, that's not the play. You got to adjust the course. Not every hole is going to fit your play style. And so I think that's probably the only reason people are a little, angry. But then you have people that love them. Some people love 17, hate 18, love 18, hate 17. I loved how they came out. They're going to play really good down the stretch, considering, if you're up 2, you're not safe anymore, where last year it kind of felt like that. So, you could be up even 4 strokes, and, triple bogey on 17 is a very likely score if you miss that first drop zone.
Hole 18's gap off the tee requires power and also is one of the tighter gaps that I feel like we see on an 18 all year. How do you feel it's going to play down the stretch?
It's going to play over par, that's for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 15 to 20 birdies a day max. We're going to see a lot of bogeys, that's for sure. Obviously the OB on the left is super tight by the green. That's going to bring in a lot of score separation as well. The goal is just to have a good variety of scores, and 17 and 18 do a great job of that now. I know 17, my goal with that was there's no way to just play for par. You can't just chip up and then have a jump putt for par. You always at some point have to cross over onto the island. There's, it's one of those holes you want to be thinking about the entire round that you're stressed about. And that's, I feel like, what makes a good hole. And 18 is going to be, it's going to be scary down the stretch for whoever is in the lead.
You're going over to Europe. It's your first time going over there to compete. Are you excited? Do you feel like you know the courses already with how much coverage you've consumed in the past?
The only course I know anything about is the Beast in Nokia. I don't know anything about Tampere Disc Golf Center for European Open. I know nothing about the Norway course or the Estonia course. And so I'm just going to go over there. It's going to be a long, next 5 weeks. We have this tournament, 3 over there with no breaks, and then come immediately back for Ledgestone, and that's a 4-rounder. And so there's no breaks, but I'm going to get the full experience. That was the goal, my first time out of the country, and that's exciting. But luckily I'm going with Alden, Sully, and Gavin, and so we have a good group of people, and they've all 3 been over to Europe before, and so they know what to do. They can just kind of show me around.
It's nice to have some tour guides here. Yeah. Here's Grant Zellner for a couple more questions.
Hey, Ganon, how's it going?
Good.
A couple of weeks ago on Tournament Central, we were debating resumes over the course of this season, which players had arguably the best resume, and you were, if not the top of the list, very close to it. You're used to playing in a tournament with a lead, but what's it like going week in and week out knowing that you're sort of one of the most hunted players on tour by the other players?
It definitely puts like a little bit of pressure. If I don't perform well, I get a little disappointed in myself. It's kind of weird, like the more you win, the more pressure there is to win. In some way, it's like, you know, I don't expect to win every weekend, but I want to at least give myself a good chance. And when I give myself a chance and don't win, that's pretty disappointing. I kind of feel like I did that to preserve a little bit, but it was fine because my game felt, you know, one of the worst it's felt the whole year, and I was still able to make a lead card and give it a run at the win. And so I think if I'm doing that, if my game feels good, I have a great chance to, you know, open up with a pretty early lead, you know, maybe round 2 or something. This week my game's feeling all right. Still got a couple things to dial in, but obviously I know this course, I think, better than anybody, and that's going to give me a little bit of an advantage out here.
When things start going bad, whether it's an entire tournament or maybe you're midway through a round and some things just aren't clicking, how do you reset? What do you do? Every player's got their own method. What's yours?
Yeah, so I mean, I look at tournaments as, you know, not 3 rounds, but 54 holes, if that's however many, you know, rounds that tournament is. You know, I've talked to a lot of, you know, my friends or just people, and, you know, maybe they're having a bad day on the course. You just can't let that affect the rest of the day, because each day doesn't have to be a new thing. We're just playing a stretch of holes. You know, you can play 54 holes in one time. It's like there's no difference. You know, each day doesn't have to be a new attitude. It can be, you know, I know whenever I have a bad round, I wake up the next morning feeling motivated still to shoot a good round, but maybe the day before I'm thinking back, maybe I probably shouldn't have thrown some shots, probably made some dumb decisions. And what's helped me this year is, like, in those earlier rounds, not doing those dumb decisions and still just like understanding there's more holes to play, and it's not just each day is a new day. It's a stretch of holes, and so focusing on that gives it a little bit of an easier perspective. You know, 3 rounds is good for me. Obviously, more rounds the better for myself, I believe. If I can just play consistent, you know, people start to drop off, and I can kind of just stay steady. And then if I'm able to shoot hot, I'm even able to get a big lead. And so that's kind of how I look at disc golf.
Dan, when you're playing amongst the leaders, as you so often are, the cameras are always on you, and they pick things up, the microphones, that is. We hear a lot of self-talk from different players, mumbling sometimes to themselves after a shot. As you have matured in the game, and we've all watched you sort of grow up over the last few years, how has your own self-talk changed over that time?
I don't really know. Maybe like a little bit better. But I also think, you know, I kind of look at self-talk in, you know, another way. You can talk about yourself bad, but as long as it doesn't affect your, like, play, I guess. For me, I'm not one to kind of be like, oh, that's okay. You know, if I throw a B, I don't want to tell myself that's okay. That's not. You threw out of bounds, that's a bad shot. You should not be doing that. So I almost like try to like reaffirm that that's not what we're trying to do. It's not okay to miss putts. It's not okay to throw a B, but you know, you can get mad at yourself, but don't let it affect the rest of the holes. Kind of use it as like fuel, basically, instead of bringing yourself down. So, you know, a lot of times I have bad couple stretches of holes or bad rounds. I come back even hotter the next couple rounds just because I'm motivated.
Ganon, best of luck this week defending your title.
Thank you.
Stay with us. More to come on the Disc Golf Network.
Welcome back. Joining us now, another Iowa native, Gavin Babcock. Gavin, you grew up about a half hour away from here. You said you played your first tournament here. Talk about your history coming up in Iowa disc golf.
I mean, it's so cool to finally be like just a every year tour stop here and get to come back home, because I mean, I've got to see growing up in this great community with all the diehard disc golfers and constant hours of coursework they're putting in to make this area just one of the best, and it's finally cool to see this place evolve after everything and kind of get in the hands of some newer pros to help kind of design it and make it what it is today, and just kind of evolve and let the community take over. And it's just an unreal feeling being back every year.
Well, let's talk about what Des Moines area disc golf or Iowa disc golf is like if you're not a touring professional. If you are not out there on the road playing week in and week out in different states, what were you getting yourself into playing around Iowa and the Midwest?
Oh, I mean, luckily I had a close friend, Matt Polson, and we'd constantly just playing leagues and different like doubles tournaments, and just, I mean, now with how big the scene is around here, I mean, Titan's running tournaments almost every weekend around here, so it was just nonstop Monday night throwdown, Tuesday night league, subbing in for bushwhackers. It's just like there's something going on every single weekday out here for people to get into.
You are one of the players that started touring well below 1,000 rated, and you've worked yourself up to a really high rating. Talk about the beginnings of going on tour and the work that you've had to put in to get to where you are now.
Yeah, it's been really just understanding, I think, the game of disc golf even more. Obviously, coming from a wrestling background, it was a lot of like just hard work. I mean, the game of golf is just so different, and understanding that mentally and getting myself to figure out how to kind of unwind all the years of stress put on my body, and it was hard for the first couple of years going to get a workout in and not just wanting to murder my body, and more so just like do some yoga and more practical movements. And I feel like this is the first year where I've kind of finally tuned myself up closer to a disc golfer and kind of starting to look like a disc golfer. And Ganon always called me, I always looked like an am that just got good, and I'm finally starting to get smooth. And yeah, so I mean, thanks to him and just my own kind of hard work and obsession with it, of understanding the backhand and fully diving into why things work the way they do, and just nonstop thinking about it, kind of starting to piece my game together.
It's a pretty backhanded compliment from your friend Ganon Burr. I want to ask, though, you have such a great group of touring buddies, and all of you have risen so high over the past few years. How much are you guys going out of your way to coach each other and bring up little things that they can work on?
Quite a bit. I mean, it's iron sharpens iron. Very, very original, but that's kind of why I felt kind of connected to that group in the first place. To me, coming from a team sport, even though it was individual, you're always trying to make your training partner as best as possible so you can be your best self and kind of just enhance the environment around you. And I mean, you see those guys putting outside and you're just like, man, they're getting extra putts in, and now you're out finding yourself outside getting extra putts in and struggling with stuff and kind of bouncing ideas and different shots. And I mean, I understand their games just as much as them at this point. I just see them throw so many shots. So if we see them struggling with the hole, like we want to beat the best people every week. So I mean, we're not going to let them just keep struggling with the hole. And yeah, it's helped a ton just being in that environment week after week.
Well, you've watched Ganon win a bunch of times. You've watched Isaac win his majors. You've watched Ezra rise up and take down a silver event last year. What is it going to take for you this week here at Pickard to take down your first Elite Series?
I mean, staying clean, it helps that I feel just incredibly comfortable at this course. But yeah, I mean, sticking to my game plan and just enjoying the environment and staying calm. And I mean, it's one of those things that I don't really have any pressure to win or anything, because I'm just now kind of starting to get in those positions this year where I'm seeing myself final round in top 10 and kind of just right there, and have had a couple just few too many mistakes that have taken me out, but I'm slowly learning and not duplicating mistakes and I'm pretty excited this week.
You talked about enjoying the environment. What is the environment like on the course right now? I know Ganon said it's a little soggy. The water on hole 4 and 5 is a little bit high. Does that change the way this course is playing at all?
A little bit. It's definitely already down a little bit from yesterday, but maybe a little safer in some spots, slow your footing down in a few others. But for the most part, I mean, I hope it's just we get a nice 3-round tournament. I hope it's nice and hot, and just the crowd here is insane, and it's amazing.
You said you played your very first sanctioned event here at Pickard.
Yeah.
Is it a proud feeling to see how far this course has come from a design standpoint and maybe a prestige standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, like even with all the new holes and stuff, like it's one of those things where sometimes you'll come back from the area or after being gone from the area for so long, and you'll go to like one of your short home courses and be like, oh dang, they changed that hole, a new hole. But every change they've made here has just been incredible, and just it's never too much and like really backtracking. It's kind of a slow build up of fine tuning, and I feel like they've done a really good job of that, of not making like a bad hole and then like having to take steps back. It's slowly like, what can we do to played a little too easy, to where can we tighten things up, and just year by year tweaking it.
I got one last question for you. I know we're pretty much right at the halfway point in the season. You get to come home and rest a little bit at this halfway point. How are you feeling in regards to burnout or things like that?
I mean, it is huge. I got to sleep in my own bed the week before Preserve, and then the week after Preserve, and all this week. So I get like 3 weeks at home, and spend some good quality time with family, girlfriend, and the new dog just drove up. And so, it's been awesome just to spend some good quality time, take a few days off, and just grind back in the basement where it all started, and just tune up some things for this week.
Gavin, thank you so much for your time. Here's Grant Zellner with one more.
Hi, Gavin. Just one more for you today. You talked about the maturing process, learning how to take care of your body in particular, and create a disc golfer out of your body. I want to ask you about sort of the mental side of that. You mentioned getting to a point where you're in contention now from time to time. So at this point, how are you measuring success? What will cause you to walk off 18 on Sunday, proud of yourself, and for that matter, for the rest of the season? How will you measure success for yourself moving forward?
If I can keep a level head all around and do everything I can, every single hole to score as good as possible, then I'm perfectly fine with the results. Obviously, I want those results to be good, but if I let some frustration get to me and kind of carry on and bleed into the next hole, then I'm pretty disappointed. So I've done a good job of maintaining that, and if I can just keep a good head on my shoulders, positive self-talk, and just focus on the shot ahead of me and not let my mind wander and keep that in control. Those have been pretty it's simple. It sounds simple, but I mean, it can be tough sometimes, and that's been pretty crucial for me this year.
You're obviously building some positive momentum in 2024. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more on the Disc Golf Network.
And welcome back. Always a treat. Greg Barsby, thank you for joining us, my friend. We're here in Des Moines. You've played in Des Moines a lot. Just in general, talk to us about your history coming here and playing events.
My first Pro Worlds was here in 2004. And it was Pro-Am Worlds, so everybody was here. And I beat Yeti in the unofficial putting World Championships in front of the crowd, which I've done before. Yeti's got all these world titles, but he hadn't been able to beat me in front of a crowd yet. So, but yeah, I've come back. I've played the first class challenge, which was 5 rounds, 3 days on a lot of the Des Moines courses. I love Des Moines. This course has been on my favorites list for 20 years. So, yeah.
Talk about the evolution of Pickard. I mean, again, in 2004, Pickard was here. Talk about just in general what you've noticed over the years and how you feel about where it is now.
The course looks amazing. It's rained a lot. I just went and played a nice little loop, but it looks really good. You can tell they've been working hard. The tees look fantastic. The evolutions happen with the golf disc too. You know, when we first came out here, it was like kind of like the Valkyrie and the T-Bird Eagle 7-speed kind of stuff. So the discs have got faster, so the holes kind of have matched that. And I think this is just a great test of disc golf skill. Juliana laid out a really nice one, and I think the club's worked really, really hard and done a great job extending it.
It feels like the clubs out here, or the club in Des Moines, is just huge. And we had so many volunteers come out this week to work on the course. What have you experienced with these communities, just getting immersed? I know back in the day, there was a lot more getting involved in the communities when you were on tour.
Totally. Yeah, this is one of the best ones on tour all year. You can tell they take pride in the course and all the courses around here. This is a great disc golf community.
Fast forward to now. You've cashed at every event so far this year. You just won a great A-tier out in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling right now game-wise? Are you feeling ready to go take down a win this week?
I just knocked down like 3 50-footers right in Matty O's grill just like a half hour ago. So I'm feeling great right now. Short putting was a thing in Copenhagen that I was really displeased with. So had to kind of switch gears and life happened. I got to swing over to Alabama, and I was really surprised to win that tournament at 12,000 feet, but I got it done and just been working on the putter, trying to get my game as strong as I can for the summer and fall. We got a lot of tournaments in a row. So.
Well, I got a couple questions. I mean, you already went over to Europe and you came back, and now you're going back over to Europe.
Yes.
You signed up for the Krokel in Norway, European Open. How has this year been for travel for you?
Busy, man. It's really busy. We have a great trip planned, though. I've got a lot of friends to see over in Europe. This one will be quick, just 3 weeks, but it's going to be jam-packed with some fun times, and we got a great crew. We're staying at the Airbnbs. I'm staying with the Austrians over in Estonia, so that'll be fun. And yeah, just trying to take it day by day, keep my game feeling good, try to keep the body feeling good, and have fun playing. It's key.
You talk about short putting being an issue in Copenhagen. You've thrown thousands upon thousands of practice putts in your life. What do you do to work on that at this point? Is it just repetition, muscle memory? Is it just smacking yourself over the head? What is it?
Just got to put in the time.
All it is.
Yeah, you just got to put in the time. You know, all the young guys out there and all the kids that are striving for greatness in the sport, you know, you put in the time, and a lot of time the results will follow. You know, you got to put in the effort. So I've been trying to do my best to put in the effort with all the other stuff I have going on.
Greg, thank you so much, my friend. Here's Grant Zellner for a few more.
For sure. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Greg. How are you, man?
Good.
Good. All right. You talked about your earliest days in the game, starting right around here back in 20 years ago, 2004. I'm curious, from your perspective, how the game has changed, and of those changes, what things were you able to predict, and what things have happened to the game that you didn't predict at all?
Oh, man, that's a long-form question. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, the plastics have changed so much. I don't think that I anticipated maybe as many brands that come out now that have a lot of different discs and large lineups of golf discs. So a bunch of great brands out there that have a full lineup. That's one thing I probably couldn't have predicted. Has always been my favorite sport, so I guess I kind of predicted a lot of people would be into it because it's fun and it checks a lot of boxes. You know, you get outside and be one with nature. But
You've had success in the sport for a long time. How have your goals changed in terms of what you expect of yourself? What are your goals like now and moving forward in terms of what you want to accomplish both on the course and off?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've gone to almost every place I can to play and tried to push myself against the best players in the world. So, I mean, as far as my goals, you know, I have a goal on this tour to just stay where I am and focus on playing disc golf and not maybe some of the other stuff that I'm working on off the course. And that's a fine balance. Sometimes, you know, you don't have time for everything. So I'm just trying to focus on playing golf and keeping a level head on the course. I know my skills, since I've played so long, they should shine through if I get enough holes and I have the right headspace.
How long have you been in the area getting ready for this particular tournament?
We just drove in yesterday, 13 hours. So I got out here this morning.
So with that kind of truncated time frame to get prepared, of course, you know the course pretty well, but what do you focus on when you can't focus on everything?
Distances that I'm throwing the shots, just trying to be smooth out of the car after those long drives, right? Try not to push it too hard, you know, and just kind of get a feel for the course and get a feel for the putter, see how the putter's flying, and go out and have some fun with my friends. Got to play with Corey Ellis earlier. You know, some really good disc golfers I haven't seen in a minute. I didn't do any of the West Coast, so yeah, ready to kind of get back in the swing of things.
I know the default answer is win, but if I were to ask you what will feel like success on Sunday when you walk off of 18, what kind of positioning are you looking for?
You know, really, I just want to make sure I get to the flight on Monday over to Norway. So, yeah, I'd like to end around 7 o'clock.
So that's success. Make the flight.
Anywhere in there, you know, if I'm ending on the course, getting in the later cards. It's hard to say. Once you get in there, then I guess maybe your expectations change, right? If you put yourself in a really good spot, maybe I want to win. But to start the event, I just want to make smart decisions, execute.
A lot of experience talking. Good luck this weekend, Greg Barsby.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be back on the Disc Golf Network.
And welcome back. We have 2022 champion Simon Lizotte here. Simon, you said you woke up at 3:30 this morning to fly here. Seems like kind of a common story these days for you flying in and out to these tournaments.
Yep, that's how I roll right now. It's been like that for kind of 2.5 years, ever since my son was born, and it hasn't hurt. I'll say that.
What is the recipe to success here? It seems like, since you started doing that, the wins have just been pouring in for you. Is it because of the lack of practice? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I just think that overthinking is one of my biggest weaknesses, and maybe most athletes' biggest weakness And if you only have so limited amount of practice, if you only seen the course one time at Music City a couple months ago, I literally didn't see it at all because I was dealing with an injury and I played 8 holes before the tournament. There's really no chance to overthink because you only have one shot, you got to throw it. You haven't played the course multiple times, you haven't thrown multiple shots on each hole, and for me that has been working.
Well, and when I say lack of practice, I kind of more mean lack of practice rounds, like you said. When you're going back home, like you just played the Preserve and flew home and came back, are you getting reps in up there in Worcester?
Not much, no. When I'm home, it's pretty much full daddy duty, especially my daughter is 10 weeks old today. So it's crazy. The last 10 weeks have been absolute blur. I try to be as much there for my wife as I can when I'm home, of course. I try to make YouTube videos every now and then. I wouldn't really call those practicing. It's more like Frisbee entertainment, and I get to like try different stuff out there. I really don't touch my actual tournament disc golf bag too much when I'm filming, but it's all fun stuff. And that's one of my main things ever since I really been on tour is as long as I'm having fun, that's really all I'm looking for. Yeah, I did play the last 2 days kind of. Avery Jenkins was in town for some course design projects, and he made sure I got some practice in. So at least I won't be sore tomorrow, which is a good part.
Some people say having that second kid is a lot easier than the first kid. Is that how it is for you?
Not easier at all, because now on top of dealing with a newborn, you're dealing with a 2-year-old boy, which is just madness. Anyone who's ever had one, they know.
You're going over to Europe, and you missed last year's stretch. Are you excited to head over there, and you are competing for Europe for the President's Cup? How do you feel about that?
Super excited. It was kind of a bummer decision again because for a long time I thought I couldn't go because in America there's certain immigration rules. I still am not a U.S. citizen, of course. I am married now, which turns out doesn't really help unless you apply for that green card, but that process takes up to 2 years. And if you apply while you're in the U.S., you're not allowed to leave the country until you got approved. And when you deal with government stuff, you never know if it's going to take 6 months, if it's going to take a year or 2 years. You just never get answers, and it's just unknown. So basically what I had to do a couple of weeks ago, make the decision, do I want to forfeit my green card application because I still haven't got that approval, and it's been many, many months. I tried to apply for special permission to go travel. Of course you can do that, and especially if there's a lot of money on the line and stuff like that, but that was also denied. So I made a couple of phone calls and had to decide that I'm going to forfeit my application for now and try again when I'm back. Hopefully it'll be done by Worlds next year. That's my goal.
Sounds like a very big headache for you, especially trying to travel to all these tournaments.
It sucks a bit, but rules are rules. There's a little price tag behind it too, this whole process with applying for this stuff. Of course, lawyers are involved and stuff, so it's not ideal. But I can't really complain.
When you have all this other stuff going on in your life, children, dealing with the visa and whatnot, is it easy to tune it out when you step up to hole 1 of a tournament round, or do those thoughts linger in your head during tournaments?
No, for me right now, tournaments are my vacation because being home is just so much more exhausting. And when I'm on tour, I get to sleep in a hotel. I won't get woken up multiple times per night, and I'm not constantly doing chores like it feels like I'm doing at home right now. But that's just part of life. So I'm just really trying to enjoy my time on the course here. I just hope the weather holds up, and other than that, I can't really ask for much more. 14th
place at the Preserve after a little bit of a break. How did you feel about that performance? And in general, do you feel like your game is in a place to win again at this course?
Yeah, I feel like it because 2 tournaments ago that I played, I won. So it should be there. The Preserve is a weird one for me. I feel like that course is so laid out for my game. Lack of OB, wide open shots, and really just, I feel like it's got my name written all over it, and I've never really done it there. I've been there now 4, 5, 6 times, maybe. I don't know how long we've had it. But every time I go, I just find myself getting a bit frustrated and just let down by my play, and I never really know why. I put together a good final round 2 weeks ago. That kind of saved my tournament because I was hovering around 40th place, which is kind of no man's land. But there were glimpses, like always. The consistency was obviously a bit lacking after 8 weeks off. But man, it's all there. It just has to come together. And just looking back at the last 2 years, it's kind of just, for me, a matter of time. It'll come back.
Simon, thank you so much for your time. Here's Grant Zeldner.
Cool.
Hey, Simon, I want to piggyback on something you just said, talking about trying to get the game back. When it goes awry for you at this stage in your career, what usually is the culprit? Is it a timing issue? Is it a distance issue? Is it just the putter's not falling? What usually fails you?
It's usually the really simple mistakes, kind of the shots that I take for granted, the stock shots, the shots where you don't really worry about too much. I think I kind of fall into this place where I kind of forget that obviously every shot matters and you got to do your best at every shot. And sometimes it'll be like a 120-foot up shot that I just kind of whiff to circle 2 and then miss a putt. Circle 2 putts for me have always been hit or miss, like for most people. But it could be the putt too. But, I've been doing this all my life, so I know it's just, you got to wait it out. The slump comes and goes. It's just that's golf.
Simon, there was a time in your life when you could say that disc golf was nearly 100% of it. Now, clearly, that's not the case. And it's not the case for great reasons. You're a husband, you're a father, you've got other business ventures. So when other things are taking so much of your time, how do you make up for that in order to feel prepared and ready to go for an event like this?
Well, I've always felt prepared by not really preparing. It's a kind of a weird thing. Some people need to be very serious and very focused and locked in. For me, it's more, I need to be relaxed and kind of have no expectations and no worries. That's when I play the best. And if you don't really prepare, then your expectations seem to be a bit lower. And that's worked for me. So I don't see a reason to stop that right now.
When you feel like you're getting too serious, what do you do about it?
I hate it. I get frustrated on the course. I start getting these thoughts of, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. I'm not enjoying it. And that's when I really notice, all right, time to switch that mind over again, because it's a daily thing where you battle with your own thoughts a bit, and versus performance versus having fun. It's always this battle in disc golf. And I always have to remind myself, just have fun. That's when I do my best.
Ready to go this week, that's for sure. Simon Lizotte, best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
More to come on the Disc Golf Network.
We did it.
Welcome back, and just like every year, we got a very special guest, Juliana Corver. Thank you for joining us again. For the new viewers, we tell the story almost every year. Explain to them your connection to Pickard Park.
After grad school, I moved to Indianola. I lived about a mile from where the course is right now, and there was no course in town. A local church group had some money. They wanted to build something for their youth, and somehow I got connected with that group, and we convinced them, and then we went to the city and convinced the city that we should put a disc golf course in here. And so that was probably late 90s that we did that.
So would you call yourself the course designer, or was there a team that came out here and helped lay out the property?
I was not the only one, but I would say that I was the main one.
Well, Juliana, I know last year me and you had spoken, and you said, I think I might take a little bit of time off of competing, do a little bit more commentary. I'm looking at your 2024. There's a lot of tournaments on here. And
Yes. Okay, there's a lot of tournaments, but look at how many of those are open versus how many of those are
Yes.
40 and 50. So to me, this is stepping back. So I'm not putting myself up against the top players every single weekend, and I'm staying more in my traditional lane, I guess, for this age. And it's been a little bit less stressful and a little bit, I don't know if I should say more fun. It's a different fun, and I've still got my foot in the water here, whether I'm playing or doing commentary. So it kind of feel like I've got the best of both worlds right now.
I noticed something interesting. In 2004, we did have World Championships here, and your player rating of 948 at the time is lower than your now player rating. And I know ratings in the PDGA are not perfect, but from your perspective, are you a better player now than you were in 2004? Or maybe are there certain things that are better?
If you went back to 99 or 2000, I would say back then I was far superior to what I am now. But in 2004, my heart wasn't quite in it anymore. I was always already starting to think, what's the next step? So I may be as good as I was then. It's so hard
Of course.
to compare, but disc technology helps a lot with my current game.
Mm-hmm.
So that has helped me stay close to what the top level is.
Want to ask you, in regards to disc technology, what are you doing to utilize it to your advantage out here on tour?
Well, so I have always, all my life, since I got into disc golf and since I had a little bit of maturity in the sport, I've always been a firm believer in throwing the slowest disc that you can get to a particular object or location. I'm throwing a lot faster at this than most of the girls that I'm competing with because I don't have the strength, the arm speed that I used to, and certainly not that they do. So I'm having to throw faster stuff than I like to keep up.
Not muscling the putter anymore as much.
Well, I still do as much as I can, 220 and under and stuff, but it used to be I could do the putter 260 and under, and everything's sliding in one direction and not the one you'd hope, the way you'd hope.
Well, Juliana, this leads me into kind of another question. You've grabbed 2 majors this year. You've won 2 age-protected majors. I want to ask you, though, about your whole view of what disc golf is to you now. Is it simply coming out to these tournaments to chase after these major titles? No. What is it to you?
Part of it is to be able to enjoy this entire atmosphere that both Jim and I sort of grew up in. And to be able to do it together is just a real blessing. And part of it is spanning the gap between my computer job and maybe don't need a job anymore. It's just trying to soak up the experiences one more time as they have escalated with all of the media, all of the money, all of the eyes on the sport now, and just to experience it one last time.
Zooming into this week, Pickard Park's come a long way since you laid it in the ground. Are you proud of how it's evolved over time?
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm so amazed and so happy with its evolution, and I almost feel a little embarrassed when I get so much credit for its initial design because it has changed so much. But in my defense, the original plan was that they were going to have a lake over by like 14, 15, the valley there. They were going to flood that, and they were going to have a water feature for the community. And so we were not allowed to use that area. And so that's one of the reasons why the design has significantly changed. And clearly, it was probably funds. They didn't have enough money to do so. But I'm very glad, and I'm sure every disc golfer out there is happy that didn't happen because the course is amazing. And yes, I'm very, very proud of it.
One last question for my personal sake. When was the last time you touched a freestyle disc and put the nails on?
Oh gosh, I've talked about it a lot because the events with the older players, there's a lot more freestyle players there, and we always try to make a plan, and then it just keeps falling through. So, since I put nails on, it's been at least a year.
Might have to break you out of retirement. Here's Grant Zellner.
Juliana, I've seen you at a number of events this year, especially those majors, and you talk about the incredible camaraderie there at those majors. Now you step back into sort of a different kind of a gauntlet. What are the emotions or the butterflies going in against this different sort of competition?
Well, I definitely have a different relationship with the competitors on the DGPT tour. I fall more into the house mom role, and you know, I'm not necessarily a maternal person, so that's a very awkward almost place for me to be, but to feel that some of these young players are looking up to me, and hopefully I can give them encouragement that this is something that they can do for a long time, and then this is a legitimate career path, not just a splash in the pan. I'm very happy to fill that role for them, and it's I don't know, satisfying. I'm very grateful to be able to have that opportunity.
You don't have to name names, but have there been some players that have pursued you maybe more than others and asked you very specific questions about how to do life this way? And if so, what specific pieces of advice have you given them?
A little bit. I think actually more they seek out Jim as advice giver than myself, but I think I'm more show by example.
I want to ask you one last question, going back to all the talk about course design and about being here at Pickard Park in particular at the beginning. As you try to adapt courses to, you brought up disc technology, how do you do that from the design standpoint, especially if I tell you you're not allowed to say just make it longer? What do you do to make courses keep up with the rest of the game?
That's a big question. I don't have an answer for that, but you need to have either somebody that is incredibly empathetic in other people's abilities, or you need a committee of people with different skill levels to be able to look at each hole so that you can see it from different perspectives.
Brilliant words. JK, best of luck this week. Welcome home.
Thank you.
More to come on the Disc Golf Network.
Welcome back. Elizra Midling here joining us. You said in an Instagram post recently that you were deeply missing tour life. You're back out here on the road. How has it been for you so far?
Amazing. I really enjoy this, and it's always my favorite part is coming back after being off. It's been a few times already, and I can't wait for the event to start.
How was it being home? Did you instantly miss tour, or was it nice to rest for a little bit?
Oh, I instantly missed it. I really don't like being home. It's my, I enjoy being on tour a lot more than being home. I don't really like just doing all the work at home.
Do you feel like you've always had the travel bug, even just growing up? Did you feel like you were always curious about what else was out there?
Oh yeah, I love traveling. We've always done it as a family, and it's always been one of my favorite parts of stuff.
Talk about how your development as a player is going. You've had some big peaks this year. You've had some top 10 performances. Do you feel like you're learning a lot of new things playing all these different courses?
Yeah, I'm learning a lot. It's a lot of new parts of my game, developing stuff, like my forehand's getting a little better, that finally. Yeah, learning a lot of new discs still, and just coming along slowly.
I get this question a lot from a lot of amateur players, and I want to ask you, how do you individually practice forehand? How do you figure it out for yourself?
I personally don't go out to a field and practice it a lot. It's more of I'll pick a couple holes per round and I'll just practice that, because my elbow doesn't really hold up if I do a ton of field work with forehands. So I'll just go out and throw some per round, a certain amount usually. I don't do field work for it.
You have a pretty versatile backhand that, like you said, is still developing. What is the forehand's purpose for you when you're playing tournaments? Is it a bunch of molds that you're throwing forehand with, or do you just keep it to a couple slots?
I only throw a zone and an avalanche on forehands, really. I don't really have, those are my comfortable discs with forehands.
Okay, so higher arm slot, you're not hyzer flipping anything.
Oh, no.
Pure utility.
Pure utility.
Go to the backhand side. I mean, when you first came on the scene, the release speed blew a lot of people away. How do you feel about the rest of the backhand and how it's coming along for you?
I'm getting a lot better at touch, I feel like, which is good because I had none previous to this year. I've also been recently throwing, just working a lot on throwing touch. Now, sometimes in my practice, I'll throw mids for up shots, and that helps me practice touch a lot because I have to slow down my arm speed because I'm throwing a faster disc into the green and stuff. So yeah, I've been working a lot on that.
And I guess I'll ask you another tough question. For touch, which is another tough thing to work on, is it just experience, or are there certain things that you try to do to build that touch? Is it just time?
I don't really know. I think it's a lot of experience. Yeah. I mean, I've just been doing it a lot. I think that's the only reason I've been getting better, not really focusing on anything else about it.
As you're on tour, how much are you thinking mechanically, about technique, form? Are you thinking about it at all? Do you care? Is there time to think about it?
No, I have not thought about it at all since I got on tour, honestly. Probably not a good thing, but I've just been enjoying throwing, not really thinking about much.
I think a lot of people would say that is a good thing, to not think about it as much. What are some of the things outside of just throwing that you're learning being out here on the road competing at all the best tournaments?
I don't know. There's so many things. It's I don't know. I'm growing up on the Pro Tour, and it's just amazing. There's so many things I'm learning, personal lessons and disc golf lessons and just everything. I don't know. There's so many things. I can't answer that question.
Fair. Completely fair. Coming into tournaments, we have so many players talk to us about the concept of expectations. Some people say, I want to have no expectations. Some people tell us, I expect to come out here and win the tournament. Do you think about these things at all? Do you expect things of yourself when you show up to these tournaments?
I do. I shouldn't, but I really do. I mean, I really want to go out. I try not to, but I always have expectations. I know how I can play these courses. I know I can do well. It's really upsetting when I don't play up to my expectations, which is almost every weekend. But yeah, I try not to have expectations, but they're always there.
One last question from me. You're in the hunt for Rookie of the Year. Do titles like that mean anything to you? Do you think about that kind of stuff at all?
No. I know I'm out here for a greater purpose. I didn't even know that I was...
Oops.
Didn't even know that I was in that, or I was leading that rookie by that much. But yeah, I don't really care about the awards. I'm just here having fun and playing for the Lord.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Here's Grant Zellner.
Hi, Eliezer. I wanted to ask you about all of the ways that you're getting comfortable out here with the other players specifically. You've talked about being comfortable with traveling, finding ways to be more and more comfortable as your game matures. But when it comes to the other players, do you find certain relationships are beginning to take root and you're building that smaller community amongst the other touring players?
Yes, for sure. I've started getting closer with some players, and it really helps. Like we push each other, and there's some really good friends out there, and everyone. It's a great community, and yeah.
Outside of the course or asking technical questions about how to execute a shot, what kinds of questions are you asking these veteran players in terms of them helping you understand the way of life on tour?
I mean, it's really a lot of just that. I don't know, really. I can't answer that question. Sorry.
Okay, how about this for a fun one? You've talked about how much you love being on the road, but if I asked you to try to name the worst thing about being on the road and touring, what would that worst thing be?
We've gotten our car stuck a few times in some mud. Nothing really. It's just been amazing all around. Other than that, it's really been amazing.
You have a very unique support system from home. Not that you have people from home rooting you on and traveling with you, but that you have such a big family that is often with you on the road. What is that like? And how do you feel in terms of showing your siblings, especially your younger ones, what success looks like and how to do things?
It really means a lot to have them out here. I mean, sometimes I get a little tired of them, but I'm very thankful to have them out here and supporting me. And I really want them to look up to me as like that, something like that. And
Success so far.
Yes.
Keep it up. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
More to come on the Disc Golf Network.
All right, welcome back. Joining us now, your leader currently in the Rookie of the Year standings, Emily Weatherman. Emily, it's also your first year fully on the tour playing. Aside from performances and whatnot, how are you enjoying life on the road, different state, pretty much every week?
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely overwhelming. I've been to a lot of places now that I've never been in my life. I really didn't travel much out of state before. It's so much fun though. I'm having a great time, like making new friends. Everybody's very welcoming. which is great. I was definitely nervous for that, but it's been great. But all in all, like the disc golf, I think all the courses have been really good. I really enjoy this course specifically. I've shot really well on it. I've had a couple of like rough rounds, but they were still under par. So I'm hoping to keep that streak going into tomorrow.
I've heard a lot of really good things about how this course has evolved over time and some of the new changes that have been made. For the people who maybe haven't gotten to watch around at Pickard that are watching this, can you try to describe the way the course is laid out, maybe what you have to do to score?
Yeah, so I think the beginning of the course, the front nine, they are the ones that I'm kind of trying to go and attack more, because the back nine I wasn't really seeing a whole lot of birdies for me. And that's just my game specifically. I know that I'm not the farthest thrower by any means in the FPO field. So for me, the front nine is what I'm trying to score on, and the back nine is where I'm just trying to kind of play par, but find a couple of birdies, but all in all, keep it clean.
Over time, you grow as a player, you learn things about your game, you find weaknesses that you have to develop. What are you working on right now? What do you feel like you need to get better at in order to win one of these Elite Series events?
Honestly, just keeping my mental game steady. And for the past few tournaments, it hasn't been the best, especially, what did we just play? Beaver State?
The Preserve?
The Preserve. There you go. Sorry.
It's a blur sometimes,
It
I
is,
know.
yeah, I'm still learning all the names. The Preserve, yeah, I struggled mentally there just a little bit. I still placed well. I still performed over my rating by a lot, but I just wasn't completely in it. I had a day where I just felt like I couldn't do anything, like I wasn't releasing consistently. But playing the A-tier Majestic last weekend, I felt more consistent. I placed well. I got a podium finish. And I'm feeling good going into this tournament. So my mental is definitely what I'm working on the most. My forehand also, which is coming along. I used it a lot last weekend, and I'm hoping that it is as good this weekend as it was last weekend.
I'm going to ask you a similar question that I asked Elizra before you. How do you individually practice forehand?
Honestly, I just trial by fire. I use it in tournaments. That's where I find the most progression in it, is using it in tournaments, using it whenever it is actually needed, and I'm needing to hit a line with it, not just going out and doing field work. I don't feel that really helps me, because I'm fine with throwing it 250-ish consistently, but just hitting lines is what I'm struggling with.
What kind of stabilities for the forehand do you like? Are you throwing just pretty much strictly overstable? Do you hyzer flip anything with the forehand? What are you liking?
So there is a hole 6 on this course. The second shot is definitely a forehand shot, and on that one I'm using a destroyer. So kind of more the stable to overstable. But for certain shots, I definitely move to something flippier, like a Sidewinder. I have a pretty stable Sidewinder that I've been using. So kind of everything, but mainly stable stuff.
Still kind of experimenting with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
When a player goes on tour, it seems like the amount of practice changes. Some people say they have less time to put in that quality practice because they have to practice the course. Do you feel like you're getting more practice now than you were before you went on tour?
Definitely, yeah. I normally only have about 1 day off a week, and I've never been one to do a whole lot of field work. I've just been play the course, because that's where I find my game progresses the most, is actually playing a course and not field work. So,
how many practice rounds do you aim to get in before a tournament?
Normally about 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Emily, thank you so much for your time. Here's Grant Zellner for just a few more.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Life's been, I'm sure, a whirlwind over the first half of this 2024 season. If I asked you to try to name for me your highlight so far of the year, maybe a couple of them, what are the first things that come to mind?
So definitely DDO. My performance at DDO was really strong. It could have been better, and we had the whole debate over the OB, which kind of got me a little bit of like fame, and I'm excited to have more like opportunities to be up there, and I think that this weekend is also an opportunity. But other than that, like I've had a bunch of 8th place finishes, so just that, and everybody seeing my potential, and I'm hoping to show more and show that I'm not just top 8, top 3, like I can get a 1st place finish.
As you build relationships on tour, what are some examples of some of the advice that you get from other players, whether it be advice at a particular course or a particular shot, or just advice on how to do a life like this?
So I've gotten a lot of advice on like what I'm traveling in, what I should be traveling in, or sponsors. Like people have been talking to me, trying to help me, tell me like get an agent, do this, do that, and it's been a lot of like help hearing from a bunch of different players. Like Maria Oliva actually reached out to me and talked to me about it for a while, and that was really nice of her, and I appreciate all the help that I'm receiving.
One of your friends on tour often caddies for you, talking about Robert Burridge, who here at this very course had a pretty epic finish just a couple of years ago, going into a multi-hole playoff with Simon. Because of his success here on these grounds, has he been able to give you any specific pieces of advice or strategies that you're going to be using this weekend?
I think just the same as like every weekend. He just helps me on certain holes that he sees I'm struggling on. He definitely helps me play a little bit safer rather than aggressive, and we game plan during our practice rounds together before every tournament. But I don't know if he'll be caddying for me here, just because it's such a long course and we kind of need to rest our legs a little bit. So he's been a lot of help, though. I'm very appreciative of him.
Either way, you sound very prepared for this week.
Yes.
So we wish you the best this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Stay with us on the Disc Golf Network. We'll be right back.
And welcome back, 2022 Des Moines Challenge champion Missy Ganon. Missy, we're back here in Iowa. How are you feeling at this point in the season?
I feel great. Yeah, it's kind of that midpoint. I do go to Europe next week, so one event at a time. But this is a busy time of year, and kind of that time where I'm feeling pretty good. I think it's like the turn. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Get to go to Europe again. Get to represent Team USA alongside Ella Hansen. Got to be exciting. to go back over there?
Oh yeah, I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to play on the President's Cup team. My first time was last year and kept the streak alive, so those Europeans are getting better and better every year, so it's kind of a pride thing to keep that title in the USA court.
You and Ella are going up against Kristen and Owen for the FPO players. Is it going to be exciting? Or Kristen and Evelina,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Is that exciting for you to go up and compete representing Team USA?
Yeah, and our captain, Paul Ulibarri, we'll see kind of who he matches up for the head-to-head matches. But yeah, it's always so fun, and it's a little bit more relaxed, but we're all competitors, so it's hard not to be still pretty competitive. So yeah, I'm excited. It'll be a great time.
It's been a solid season for you so far, Missy. We're at this halfway point. You have 3 solid victories. You just won at the Preserve just recently. You said you're feeling pretty good halfway through the year. I feel like sometimes players get a little burnt out towards this stretch, but you're in a good place right now?
Yeah, I think so. I have historically had better second halves to the season, so this is kind of the first year that I feel like I've started off pretty hot. And so, yeah, I hope that it won't be any different. They'll have a strong second half as well. And so far I feel great. I feel healthy. I'm taking it easy. I'm being really mindful of how much practice I have. And yeah, just trying to stay healthy and avoid any injuries, and I've been able to do that so far.
We just interviewed Simon just a little bit ago, and he always talks about the balance between enjoying yourself, having fun, and using that to perform well. What is that like for you? What's the balance like?
Yeah, it comes down to just not over practicing, and when I take that day off, like today, I took the day off. I did a little field work, but I didn't go out and practice the course. I've already gotten that in, and I feel like that makes me more excited for round 1, because I feel like oh yeah, wait, I want to play, I really want to play this course again, but I needed to be, again, mindful of how much practice I get in, and I think that, again, that leaves that little excitement for when round 1 comes around.
Well, playing for Discraft, you are one of the captains of the team, and Paul Ulibarri got to create his own version of his favorite disc with the company. And now you get to design your first disc. It's coming out very soon. I think you said it was approved. Is that correct? Talk about the process.
Yeah, it's so cool. I can finally talk about it in more detail. I have the Captain's Thrasher coming out, and with the Captain's Raptor that Ulibarri had, it was sort of a more beefed up version of the Raptor, and that's exactly what I wanted to do with the Thrasher. I'm sure it probably plays games with people's minds. It's a Thrasher, typically understable, but I wanted to create a Captain's Thrasher that is more suitable for maybe the bigger arms, or people that just really love the feel of the Thrasher but would love a little bit more stability, and that's what I wanted. The Thrasher is like an extension of my arm, and we got a version of the Thrasher that brand new mold, completely new, and it feels really, really good, and just is a little bit more overstable. So that's exactly what I wanted. We went through multiple versions of it and finally got it down to what I wanted, and just got approved on Monday. So I'm going to be throwing it this weekend.
That's fantastic news. And I guess I wanted to ask, in that process of getting the prototypes, sending them back, did you ever start to feel like, man, am I too picky about this? Talk about that process.
No, honestly, myself and Bob and everybody at Discraft really wanted to get it right, and it's such an important disc for me that I didn't care how long it took. I mean, obviously I was anxious about it, but I didn't want to just put anything out there, and we were both on the same page on just trying different versions out and finally getting down to what I loved and putting it all together. It was an amazing process, and I'm so fortunate to have Discraft and on my back and be able to make those collaborations happen.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure that's a great feeling. Missy, here's Grant Zellner for a few more.
Thank you.
Well, Missy, when last we spoke, it was on the green, I think, after the 18th hole when you won the Preserve. I don't know that I have anything left to ask you, but I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
One of them is this. You have a slew of top fives this year. You've several victories. A couple of weeks, though, things haven't been clicking. You have a 22nd finish at Jonesboro, a couple of ninth place finishes. On those weeks when things aren't quite right, can you put your finger on exactly what it is? Is it always the same thing? What is it that happens, and how do you guard against that in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Jonesboro took me by surprise, honestly. It was kind of just one of those weekends where it just felt like absolutely nothing was going in my favor, or, I just couldn't put anything together. I just have to remember that is rare. Or I have to at least tell myself that that's rare. I'm not going to go and think that, everything's gone. I don't know what's happening. And start having a meltdown. That's just not who I am. And just knowing that things just don't happen the way you want them to sometimes, and move on and recover just by forgetting mostly. So, yeah, I don't really dwell on it too much. It just sort of happens. And, luckily it doesn't happen often for me.
You talked about being excited that you'll have a new disc, one of your own design, in your bag. Obviously, you have good reason to put that disc in your bag on short notice. But generally, are you a big switcher? Do you switch discs out based on courses? Do you switch them out just based on feel? Are you a frequent switcher, or are you sort of a person that generally keeps things the same week in and week out?
I am the most stubborn person when it comes to a lot of things, but also especially when I'm putting new discs in my bag. People are like, "Oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that?" I'm like, I've tried it, but not enough to really give you an opinion about it. Just because I don't want to overwhelm myself, having less decisions to make, the better. I tend to honestly don't even take too many discs out, even if I know I'm not going to throw it. It's sort of like a security blanket for scrambling or something, who knows. But the thing is with this new disc is I've had months to kind of work with it. I've brought it to every practice round, even though wasn't allowed to throw it then during competition. I still wanted to see, how it was going to fly for when it finally did get approved. So I've had a lot of practice with that one, and it's something that's really, close to me. And the process was such a cool process. So that one will definitely be in the bag this weekend.
I know I asked you this question a couple of weeks ago, but for those viewing that maybe weren't able to catch that interview, I want to ask you this week and moving forward into the second half, where you yourself said you're often a second half of the season player. That background in mind and your great start to this year in mind, what will success look like for you over the course of the next 3.5 or so months? What are your specific goals?
I don't know that I necessarily have any specific goals. Obviously, a world title is on everybody's list of goals. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously looking forward to the European swing, another major coming up as well, and then pretty much practice for a major next year. I'll be going to the Estonia, the disc golf festival over there. So, nothing really. I'm not putting pressure on myself to do anything in particular, but I think just keep the level of play up and just see where it takes me. I mean, I'm just a patient person, patient player, also stubborn. So I think that's a combination for hopefully success.
Well, good luck this week. We'll see you out there.
Thank you.
Missy Ganon on the Disc Golf Network. We'll be right back with more.
Thank you.
And welcome back. Last but not least, tournament director Ty Tanat. Ty, I met you years ago when I first went on tour at the Memorial Championships in Arizona. We had a great conversation and a relationship built over time. And now here you are running a wonderful event at a beautiful course. And you said at that time when I met you, you weren't that involved in the disc golf scene here in Des Moines. Talk about how you found disc golf and why you're here.
For sure. Well, I originally found disc golf back in like 2004, 2005, but like a lot of people, I kind of think it came in and out of my life. And as I got older, it came back into my life. I had some more free time. And as you know, mental health has just kind of been a big priority for me, especially throughout my adult life. And I've been battling some anxiety and stuff that comes along with that. And I decided to get back into disc golf, get outdoors, throw some Frisbees, and have some fun with my buddies. And that led me to getting back into the sport and trying to find a creative outlet as well, which led me to building and representing Wander Disc Golf, which from there led me back to like my local community, which to be honest I wasn't that involved with at the time, but I saw what the Disc Golf Pro Tour was doing. I saw what Steve Dodge was doing, the transition to Jeff Spring, and I wanted to be a part of it, and that's what led me to get involved with my community. Amanda Beery, the Des Moines Metro Disc Golf Club, reaching out to them and just, what if we could do this? What if we could give it a shot? We got to put I'm going to put all my effort and all my time into it. Amanda bought in. She was like, I'm going to put all my time, all my effort into it. And the club came along and came on board, and that's just led to where we are today.
I have heard year after year from the operations team on the Disc Golf Pro Tour that you come to Des Moines, you get volunteers. People come out, they want to help. They're setting up the course. Life is good out here in Des Moines. Talk about this community and how passionate they are about getting events here and just the courses in general.
Yeah, first off, just like I said, Amanda, Keegan Reed, Earl, Chad, Jamie, Andrew, some of the big guys that have helped out, they've been tremendous. Nathan Tomei has done countless hours of free work for us. We've put in over 1,000 hours since January 28th on this course alone. That's not even the rest of the courses in the area. So just thanking those people for putting in their time and believing in us. And then once we get closer to this, we just get this flow of other people that are willing to give up their time, getting paid at their job to come out and help out because they believe in what we're doing. They want to be a part of it. They believe in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. They believe in the players. And it's just a fun, really enjoyable experience for them and all of us. And yeah, the club just in general, it's a bunch of volunteers that are on a board surrounded by a bunch of club members that will donate their time to make sure that we have free and accessible disc golf courses in the area. There's no pay-to-play courses in Des Moines. They're all free to play, and the club and all those volunteers do a great job maintaining them.
For years, running this tournament, Ty, at certain points I've passed by you and I've seen you with your head in your hands, just dealing with some sort of fire that you have to put out. And we're not going to jinx anything here. The weather has been a problem. It's just been very annoying. The players have had to deal with it. You've had to deal with it. This year we got a bunch of rain. The course is kind of flooded. What are you doing to try to mitigate that? And what are the side steps you have to take if need be?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this feels like there's a curse or whatever. That's kind of what they say for the Des Moines Challenge here in town. But yeah, we got 4.5 inches of rain on Tuesday, which is wild. The pond is going down. It's getting better and better. I think we're going to be able to be okay without having to move the out of bounds at all, which we currently have staked out, because we think the water will flow enough out of there and into the creek. So that's what we're monitoring it every hour. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to keep updating the players, let them know as we get closer. But for the time being, we think we're going to be okay with the current out of bounds. But if we have to make adjustments, we'll let the players know, and we'll go from there.
Do you get superstitious about the weather around your event?
I'm superstitious about everything. So, I mean, I played baseball growing up. So, yeah, it's funny. So this year, my one thing, I've been asking Charlie to go on the Upshot just because I want to promote our event, and it's a good time. I like their show, and this year I decided to not reach out to them. Maybe that was the curse, is the Upshot. So whatever I can find, whatever little niche I can come up with to try to change the weather, I'm going to try it out.
Ty, with all you do for the Disc Golf Pro Tour outside of just running this tournament, how much do you get to play these days?
That's the funniest thing, I think, because this might sound bad, but I haven't been able to walk the entire course here at Pickard until this week. So I haven't played it like in its full, like from hole 1 to hole 18, probably since last year. I think I probably get to play like 2 to 3 times a month. I mean, you know, I also have a family, 2 kids, and that makes it hard too because I want to spend time with them. But my son is going to turn 4 on July 20th, so he's been throwing, and it's been a lot of fun. He's been able to hang out with me, and we've been able to play 9 holes. So I'm trying to get out there more. I did just hurt my shoulder, so be wary of tech disc and not trying to throw your hardest because you might throw your arm out. Okay, so that happened earlier this week.
Ty, you said you haven't walked the course in its fullest until this week, but there's a brand new 17 and 18. So talk about the team that put the work in to design those holes and make them what they are now, and how do you feel about them?
Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, have been asking, like, who's the course designer? And, you know, to me, in my opinion, there is no single course designer. It is the club and all of these volunteers that come out. We'll have days where we have 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, 20 people looking at the course, looking at the area, going over the ins and outs of what we can do, and that's what led us to putting in these 2 new holes. We knew the last couple holes were a little soft as far as like difficulty and scoring margins and all that stuff, so we wanted to add some teeth to it. I've always enjoyed hole 16, I believe at the European Open, with the bunker rule.
Yes.
That was what we wanted to implement on hole 17, but apparently that is grandfathered in, and from what I've been told, it will not be in play this year. So we came up with a different idea with the help of Ganon Burr as far as the double drop zone, just to make that hole have potential for 3 4-stroke swings coming down the stretch. So put a lot of pressure on the players, which honestly I don't think we had on hole 16, 17, and 18 in the past. So we really want to put the stress on them and make them make decisions coming down.
I really like how hole 18 has come together, both for the FPO and for the MPO. 2 very different holes that they have to play. I want to ask about the MPO shot. I think it's one of the tightest gaps on a hole 18 that we see all year long. Are you excited about that? Are you excited about how that's going to play down the stretch?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're nervous at the same time. I mean, to be honest, I think both holes can be polarizing depending on who you are. I mean, I know some people don't like the artificial OB of hole 17, and some people aren't going to like the tough gap on hole 18. But I think that's what you want as a course designer, as a tournament. You want people to think and to be scared and to be worried and so I think those are going to be great holes. They're going to be fun finishing holes for both sides, and just looking forward to it.
Anybody else that you need to thank, Ty, before we get into round number 1 tomorrow?
Oh my gosh, so many people. Morgan, Angie, Jeremy, the club, Adam, Becky. There's just so many people that are hanging out right now on the course, working out. Chris Stover. I said it the other day, but it means the world to me. Scott Stokely put out a video that meant the world to us, just showcasing what a great group of people we have here, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Ty, thank you so much for your time, my friend. I know you have a lot more things to do today. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Brian.
And with that, we're going to conclude the press conference. Round number 1 starts tomorrow morning.